Hello viewers, welcome to Full Spinnaker Ahead. This is episode 37 part 3, up to the Clarence. We start here leaving Pittwater and just trying to show you the Pittwater man on the Cape Barrenjoey headland. When you come around it at the right angle, you see a man. He's got a big long craggly nose, eyes, hair, a mouth and pouting lips. He's there all the time. Leaving Pittwater in light winds, 3 prominent headlands await our passing. Found some wind on our way to Nelson Bay. Got both sails up, full sail. Doing up to 9 knots, but probably averaging about 7.5. Just means we get to our destination at a reasonable time. Hope it lasts for another few hours, that'd be great. Got into Port Stephens Southern Anchorage last night. Debris line created by the outgoing tide the next morning, with flood subsided and the odd large log still floating around. Lots of logs on the shore from the previous flood. On the walk up to Tamari Head, a lot of old gum trees along the edge of the foreshore with their iconic look. There's something about an old tree that I just always stop and look at, especially the real old ones. The shape and the knots and the holes that they've got in them and the twists, the colour of the bark and stuff, somehow just that attracts my eye. Tamari Head, I suppose what stood out to me in the history of it was the 1941-1942 guns put up there to try and protect Newcastle and Sydney. A radar, one of the first radars, was put up there by the US Australian forces, and apparently was one of the ones that detected that submarine that come in and bombed was either Sydney or Newcastle. looking at these gun emplacements, it's not somewhere that I reckon I would want to be during the war, because I think they'd be a prime target. And if you just imagine the shells coming in there, ringing in amongst all that enclosure, it'd be loud and scary, I think. I don't know for sure, but I think these islands might have been the scope of a bit of practice shooting. Just at Soldier Point, Port Stephens, I've hired this swing mooring for a month so I can go down to Victoria and hang out with me mum while my dad goes away for a bit. Yeah, $500 and something for the month, which is about going rate. It's got a funny like twin rope mooring system on it, so there's a rope there and a rope there, and it's pretty new, the bloke was saying, and it's all sort of twisted up, and I'm just going to reverse back on it, make sure it's got plenty of holding power, and see whether those ropes untwist. So we'll just give it a bit of a test. Why not? Even though it's new, it might be not tested yet. So we'll just go back to reverse in idle. We've got the tinny on the side. Should be all good. She pulls up. Nice on the bridle. It bounces back a bit. We'll give it a bit more hurry and see how we go. Coming back up, it seems to bounce a bit. Let's give it a few cubes and see whether she'll hold. That's at 1200 RPM. That's a fair bit of holding power. She's holding no worries. So we'll call that good, I reckon. Go up a bit. 1400, 1500, full reverse almost. That'll do. Soldiers Point Marina, good marina. I'm just looking up at the wind at on the flag there, and it's just was a windy time when I was there. We're getting the westerlies coming across and coming around the two islands that you would think would protect you, and they did, but then it brought the swell in from the side, so the boat was always getting the swell from the side, which was really uncomfortable. Soldiers Point Marina, professionally run, good rules and friendly staff, offer all the services. The only thing I possibly could say, well, without having too much experience about being in marinas, is that maybe just a little bit exposed, perhaps. On for a bit of boat maintenance on my isotherm hot water service. It's got a electrical element that I can make hot water for with my generator on or external power, and the element had failed, I assumed, and I bought a new one, and this is just a little video on how it was replaced in the condition of the old element. As you can see, the old element is well and truly corroded, but the dramas of fitting it and getting a new element there were no dramas. It was just making sure that it didn't leak basically when you had it all together, and that the electrical connection was okay. You put back into the water heater, and then you've got a new gasket, and where the spanner's on, that's the nut that does it up. So we did that, reconnected the electrical, and gave it a test. Now hit the hot water switch on the switchboard. The generator should go down, and I've got to go and check, make sure it's all going alright while it's heating the water up, hopefully. So there's the hot water switch. Nothing happened. What does that mean? Means it's not working. I just have to push that plug in. So I got to go and check it now, then turn it off, and then turn it on again, just to be sure that it is not working or something. That's more like it. Go and check the actual unit, and in about 20 minutes we should have hot water. I think it's just turned itself off. Yes, and it was that plug again. It's always given me that problem. I normally just got to tie it back with a piece of rope. So that's what I did, and it worked okay. And we had hot water, happy days, and there was another job done. While I was down seeing my mum, caught up with Todd and Cooter. Cooter being the man who come up with full spinnaker ahead saying.
Chef? Good.
Did you know it's sacrilege to burn the brew?
Yeah, no, I know that. Yeah.
My mate Cooter will tell you sacrilege to burn the brew.
Yeah.
You're all a bit older.
Little bit.
Back from staying with my mum for a couple of weeks while my dad went overseas. It was good, catch up with my mum, and we just helped everyone out really. Mum can look after herself, but it's just, if something goes wrong, we can be there. I can be there to help her, and it puts my dad's mind at ease when he's away, because he knows that he doesn't have to worry about something going wrong. So yeah, now I drove up from Meetung in a day on the Monaro Highway, and there was snow on the ridges there, and of course it's winter in June, and it's also cold up here at Port Stephens. I just got up here last night and haven't slept in my swag for a while, but just pulled over on the side of the road and on a park here up in Soldiers Point, and slept in there and had an Nescafe with the old camping mixture, condensed milk with it. Haven't done that for ages. Actually got sick from that stuff when I was a kid and never went back to it, but the taste memories come back. Got here last night and it was blowing an absolute gale. This breakwater here, I come down here to have a look at how my boat was going, which is out there, and this breakwater here was just spray coming off it. It's a lot better now, and it's a funny sort of anchorage, because you sort of get like there's an island there and it's pretty shallow there, so I get good protection, but it bends the swell that the wind produces around between those two islands and then back around, so then you get the cat, you can see how it's swaying like that, so you can be faced into the wind, but the actual wave, the swell we would call it, is on your side, so it's painful. Anyway, that's the go. See you later. They had 45 knots here yesterday on the mooring. There's a lot of, after leaving the boat for a couple of weeks, we got a lot of swallow poo. All that poo everywhere. Right there. See the swell coming in from the side there, combination of the prevailing wind and the swell coming in from the open ocean, and maybe tweaking each other a little bit and coming straight into the side of the boat, really uncomfortable. Tried the security camera while I was gone, powered by solar. You could capture the camera on and see what was going around your boat, and be able to move the camera left and right, up and down, and also you could set it up with alarms. It was pretty good. Didn't really have to worry much because it was also being looked out by the marina, but definitely something that's worth looking at. So at this stage we were just prepping the boat for the passage further north. Fuel, cleaning the boat up. Forestay was a bit loose, I thought, so tightened up the backstays. And there was some autopilot stuff we had to do, and just generally look over the boat and get it ready. exposed oyster lease or oyster farm on low tide. You can see the tops of the crates or whatever they are. Yeah, good afternoon, it is already. Left Port Stephens this morning. Had a bit of a delay, that autopilot wouldn't disengage. And I also had to muck around with the rudder factor, get it back to, it was on 0 for some reason. And I had to put it on 3 first and then 4, and it made a big difference. Well, and like in perspective, I don't really know much about them, and I did a bit of reading up about it after I had a few troubles with it, and that seems to have fixed the problem. I don't know what caused it wouldn't disengage. I had to anchor. I turned off the autopilot, and then had a look through the inspection hole of the motor. Didn't really do much there, and then just turned it back on and it disengaged. And I've tried it a few times and it's worked well. So now the autopilot seems to be working okay. We're going along at about 7 knots. The schnauzel seems to be a little bit better. This morning she wouldn't come inside and she was just sort of lying on the deck in the rain, and a couple of dolphins went past and she sort of put the brightness back in her eyes, and away we go, and she's having a bit of a sleep there before. So we've got a following sea, and we've just got the head sail out about 2/3, and using that method where you just let it wrap around the foresail, you can see that, and we couldn't really ask for too much better. Just past the mono, and he's been zigzagging in front of us, and we slowly were catching him, and he's gone and pulled his head sail down. So the plan is we want to get to Yamba, or Iluka Yamba, Clarence River. It's a fair way away. The next place is Tuncurry Foster. That's been under flood a while back, and now it's also must have got a bit more rain. It's under a minor flood warning, which is not great, other than you're going to get a bit of outflow, and with a bit of outflow and a swell, you're always going to get more pitch in the wave. So we're just going to leave that one alone. Port Macquarie is the next one. It's also a good crossing, but it's also a bar, and if it's probably likely to have a bit of flow, being pretty close to Tuncurry Foster. So we're probably going to just keep going and see where this wind brings us, which it should run out. The wind should run out tonight or tomorrow. So I'm just going to go on it while I can, and then it might be a combination of motor and sail, or just motor. And then Coffs Harbour after that. It's not an all-weather harbour, other than if you're in the marina, and that's an option. And then it's just from there it'll be a good day's haul up to Yamba, and you don't want to be going in there when you've got a big blow either. So it'll probably be a motor to Yamba, and then a nice easy entrance into Yamba or the Clarence River. That's the plan, so we'll see how that works out. Just pulling down a security camera so the mainsail can be used. We're on our way to Coffs Harbour here basically, and in the next episode we continue on from there and get to the Clarence. Well viewers, thanks for watching Full Spinnaker Ahead. I'd love it if you could leave me a comment, give me a like or a thumbs up, and we'll see you at the next episode. And remember, full spinnaker ahead to your dreams, because you never know what's around the corner.